John Darby, welcome to our program. I am Eddie and would like to ask you a few questions. Okay. How did the Hearing Society of the Bay Area begin, and what significant accomplishments has the Hearing Society done?
Well, you have a lot of big questions there, Eddie, but to begin, the Hearing Society started with a group of people that came together to practice lip reading. A teacher came out from Philadelphia. Her husband was with the Panama Pacific Exposition in 1915 and found that nobody had ever taught lip reading to adults, hard of hearing or deaf, in the Bay Area. So she got a space in the education building, publicized the fact that she was a teacher, a graduate of the famous Nietzsche School, and a group of hard of hearing and deaf people started coming to her classes. And they found they had a lot of problems in common. They had trouble getting jobs, they felt isolated in the community, they had trouble keeping their jobs. They had trouble in communicating. They didn't have hearing aids, sign language wasn't used commonly or accepted. It was a very isolating thing to have a significant loss of hearing. So 2 years later, they formed a corporation, and the Hearing Society today is celebrating its 65th anniversary as a multiple service agency for people with all levels of hearing impairment. In our articles of incorporation originally, we had 3 major goals. One was to influence the teaching of lip reading, to spread the word, and to teach other methods of communication as appropriate. Second was to help hearing impaired people get jobs and retain that employment. And the third was to relieve social isolation in whatever way could be devised. So through the years, the agency has sponsored many programs, has started a lot of services, usually through the volunteers. For volunteers went into the public schools in the 20s and started testing the hearing of all the children in the schools. And at that time, they found about 7% of the children weren't hearing well enough to learn. And out of that demonstration program, today, it's a regular service that all school children get their hearing tested at least every 3 years. After all, if a child isn't hearing, he may have a lot of trouble in learning, and you have to find to get proper medical attention. This was just one thing. We ran a boarding house in the 20s. It was before the days of all the devices we have now. You didn't have vibrators and alarm clocks and things that would awaken people. So they had special big weights that fell on floors and actually shook the building to wake people up, get them to go to work on time. We've done a lot of things like that. We've started testing throughout this time has been to try to demonstrate new ways of meeting the needs of people with all levels of hearing impairment, and also try to educate the public, because hearing is one of our 5 basic senses. It needs to be protected, as well as to develop services for people who lost some of that sense. So today we are even trying to educate young people about the dangers from listening to amplified music under headsets. You know, there's a motto that says, good music isn't measured in decibels, but hearing loss is. So we're trying to help people learn how to take care of their hearing, to protect what they have, and how to try to make the most of whatever they may have left if they have a hearing loss. Some people think the name Hearing Society is funny when we work with deaf. We work with people with all levels of hearing. But the point is, we're talking about the sense of hearing. And almost everybody, even a person who is considered deaf, socially and culturally and educationally, may have a little bit of that sense of hearing that can be used to help warn that person or alert that person or help them somehow learn things about their environment?
That's very interesting, John. You have brought a number of devices for the hearing impaired. I'm hearing impaired myself, and I would like to see the devices which can help me the most. I'm aware that this device can help me, us, help ourselves. Can you show us each device and show and explain the function of each device for us?
Well, Eddie, if I were to show you each device on this table, we'd be here all night. But let me show you a sample of them. For example, if you have trouble hearing an alarm clock in the morning and you may not be able to get to work on time, then perhaps you need an alarm clock such as this. This flashes, a light is flashing, and if the light won't awaken you, then there is a vibrator that can be attached to the bed or under your pillow. And here, Eddie, you hold that.
Well, I should feel that. This is enough to get me out of bed, all right?
This is not the kind of vibration that is soothing or that puts you to sleep. This is the kind of vibration that'll rock you out of the bed and make sure you get to work on time. There are other kinds of devices, such as the large globe, the crystal ball, and it's a lamp that will flash when a telephone rings, or a baby cries, or a doorbell rings. Then there are special devices for communication. Some people are able to use a regular telephone. The regular handset simply is held and you talk and hear through it. But for some people, they need a volume control. So that one like this, with a dial in the middle of it, simply is transferred and it becomes the amplified handset. Some people need a high gain handset, and for it, it has a special button in it that really gives an extra powerful boost. If a person can't hear on the telephone, even with the amplifier, they may need to use a keyboard device. A keyboard device is something into which you put your telephone, you type on it, and when the telephone rings, it causes a light to flash, and then when the person starts typing to you, you can see a visual readout. Of course, these have to be compatible, and you have to talk to somebody who has another device like this. But there are many other types of devices, and we have two of them here tonight. There's another kind of device which if you are hearing impaired and you want to communicate with somebody, you put that one on, Eddie. Just hang that on your ear. And then adjust that right there. This is a simple little device that we put together from three different parts found at a Radio Shack or any other kind of, radio supply store. The amazing thing is that this little device gives you tremendous amount of amplification. You can use it either for personal conversation or you can use it with the television. And the three parts and the batteries, the whole thing cost us less than $35, which is a great saving when you stop and think how much some people pay for different kinds of amplifying devices. But this is just one of many things. If you use your imagination and go to a radio supply store, you can really hook together a lot of things which will benefit people with all levels of hearing impairment.
Thank you for joining us tonight, John. If any one of you want to know more, you can call or write to the Hearing Society. Bye-bye. Good night.